what's going on right now, and Chelsea Gray is playing out of her mind. Realistically, having a MVP conversation, Unrivaled did give out their awards today, which and she was first team all Unrivaled. So that conversation of how much Chelsea Gray has been balling out of control, a lot of people have been calling out Adidas on not sitting here properly promoting Chelsea Gray, and not just Chelsea Gray, all the women's basketball players that are assigned to Adidas. So realistically, to me, I felt like this was a conversation and it kind of needed to be had because I think realistically, I think sometimes people feel like just because you're a great basketball player, which obviously people can see Chelsea Gray has won literally on every level, from winning the one-on-one unrivaled tournament title, winning unrivaled championship last year, finals MVP, of course, winning the WNBA championship with the Las Vegas Aces last season as well. With all of that being said, her resume is long as track smoke. So again, let's be clear. So that's not a question in the piece, but I think realistically, let's be clear. Back in the day, early '90s, going into the 2000s, I think the skill level of a player realistically did kind of drive sales on sneakers and stuff like that realistically, because you're talking about like your Gary Paytons, or we just keeping it in women's basketball, your Cheryl Swoops and your Lisa Leslie. Both of them had their own signature shoe, and people, people bought them. And let's be clear, I'm somebody who's super, I grew up in that East Bay age, and I'm mad at that time because I always kind of had big feet. Women's basketball shoes never went up to my size. They kind of always stopped. When nowadays they do kind of go up to a larger size, which is very, like, I appreciate it, of course, because you can see behind me I have Angel Reese's and I also have Anthony Edwards. And that kind of wanted me to tie that conversation in as well. Is like, I think people are giving Adidas too much credit for Anthony Edwards and not giving Anthony Edwards enough credit for being Anthony Edwards. Because I think Adidas has a huge, I mean, if you're just off of pure basketball skills, Adidas men's, I can argue that they probably better than realistically some of the Nike men athletes. You talking about, they got James Harden, they got Damian Leonard, they got Donovan Mitchell. So just keep it on those three or four players. You should think realistically Adidas should be moving crazy sneakers. Let's be clear. And I go to LA Fitness, so of course, and I go to a bunch of different LA Fitnesses, and I always just pay attention to what people are wearing in on the basketball court when they're playing basketball, just to see, kind of see what shoes is comfortable. Let's be clear, a lot of people do play in James Harden shoes, but Adidas doesn't do a great job at promoting James Harden. James Harden does not have a commercial. I've seen that Aaliyah Boston commercial a million times. But if we just being honest, and this is not no shade to Aaliyah Boston, I don't think Aaliyah Boston has the personality to have a signature shoe. And I think that's realistically with a lot of the Adidas athletes outside of Anthony Edwards. And that's why it feels like Adidas is putting so much effort into Anthony Edwards. That's not the case. Anthony Edwards is Anthony Edwards. And realistically, and that is what is pushing that whole conversation, because Anthony Edwards, I've never seen only Anthony Edwards commercials I've actually seen on TV is his Sprite commercials. I've never seen a Anthony Edwards